Hello, Dream Team. Welcome back to our podcast.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, beautiful people? Welcome to another exciting installment of Here's a Thought with the Max. My name is Lerato Macheta.
And I am Phetola.
Can we give it up for Alicia Keys, ladies and gentlemen? Make some noise right now.
Oh,
Come
man,
on. You look amazing.
You. Love Alicia. Can I tell you a quick story?
Go for it.
So in high school, they said that I looked like Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
And guys, did I not spend my high school career doing cornrows?
Yeah.
Those zigzag ones.
Yeah.
Wait to kill show.
Let me tell you a quick story, guys. In high school, they used to call me Asha.
Yes.
Did I not spend my entire high school break dancing?
Is that a true story?
Yeah, it's a true story. It's a true story. What, you don't believe I can be Asha?
You never told me this.
Guys, I thought I was Asha. Listen, if you haven't done so yet, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on that notification bell to know every single time we upload a new installment. We want to give a big shout out and a thank you to everybody that's smashing that thanks button. Guys, we see you. We appreciate you. We love you. But before we get into this, can I make a quick announcement?
Okay.
Guys, on Saturday the 27th, that is this coming Saturday, I am a keynote speaker at a relationship and business event. I'm going to put the details below. Guys, book your tickets. This is why. Yeah. Like, a lot of people say, hey, guys, tickets are running out. No, like, they're running out. All right.
Get it, boo.
So go ahead. It's 299 Rand per person. The event is going to be held in Randburg. So if you happen to be in Joburg, and guys, get it 25. You understand? Like the 25th is like now. Yes. You understand? So just buy a ticket, brr.
And I'll be there to support you.
Yes, of course. My beautiful wife will be there. My folks will be there. Hopefully, I think, I think my best friend is coming. You know, it's gonna be a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So what are we talking about today? So
you say something.
Was it the last time? When we spoke? No. Week before last, we spoke about submission versus leadership. And we got a really interesting comment.
Yeah.
Okay. I found it. So the comment says, hey sis, how are you doing? This is from Siam Tanda. Siam Tanda says, I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation on submission on your channel. So thought-provoking and convicting. It's a tough one. I wanted to ask if you could consider having the conversation the opposite way with Mr. Max. For example, a conversation about leadership. Rather, our husbands as leaders of our homes. What does that look like? What is it and what isn't it? I love the honesty that you both had in saying you are better now than earlier. It would be interesting to share what's changed and how and what triggered the change. Thank you for sharing your journey. It really helps to think through and be purposeful and intentional in building our marriages. Really, really love the conversations you have on your journey.
Shout out to you, Siam Tanda.
Yeah, I thought that was really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think that's great.
So, babe, what are we doing today?
Yeah, so we're talking about, guys, we're talking about leadership.
Yes.
You know, I think it's really important that we talk about leadership because the last time we were focusing on submission, and I think some of the points that came out of that discussion was really talking about the lack of leadership and how it makes submission difficult sometimes. So today we want to delve into leadership, and my wife thought it would be a good idea for us to come up with our own points and we would compare notes. I kind of feel like we're going to come up with the same points.
I think so.
But I think because we limited it to 3 points each, then it might create a bit of variety because we probably picked the 3 that were most important to us.
Yeah.
So,
And I think the reason I wanted us to do this is because Siamtanda asked, what does it look like? What does leadership look like? And I find that sometimes when we come into relationships or into marriage, we have unspoken expectations. Lerato might think that he's leading me in a certain way. Yeah. And I might not think that is leadership.
Accurate.
That is accurate because that's not what leadership looks like to me.
To you, yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
My first point. So I said a leader casts a vision. So there's a difference between a visionary and a dreamer.
Okay.
Right? So I find that dreamers are amazing. You know, big ideas, they dream, their heads are in the clouds, but they seldomly have a plan. They seldomly know how they are going to accomplish those dreams. They seldomly know how to set realistic goals, I find. And I find that with visionaries are very resolute. They have a sense of direction. They are very goal oriented. They set out goals and they know how they're going to achieve those goals. So, for example, and I think we've spoken about it in our marriage, where I've said, we've got these grand ideas, babe, from the beginning of our marriage, there's grand ideas, but grand sharp, yes, we're going to pray about it. We're going to faith it. But a plan. What does a 5-year plan look like? And for the longest time, we didn't have a plan. And I think that's what I felt like we needed more leadership in our marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I chose 3 words.
Okay.
And my first word was vision.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Was that your first point?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you my phone now. It's my first point.
Guys, we finish each other's sentences.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. There were a couple of things that I wanted to say on the points that you made, but the reality is this. In order for you to be able to cast vision, it's really important that you understand purpose. Because out of purpose, vision is born.
Yes.
Right? I've often said on this channel that I love a quote by Miles Monroe that says, "Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable." If you haven't heard me say that before, basically what that means is if you don't know what the purpose of a thing is, then you are bound to abuse it. This has got nothing to do with your heart. Yes. It's got nothing to do with your character. It's just got to do with, for instance, the Bible says that my people perish because of a lack of knowledge. Once you have the knowledge of why you have this particular thing in your hands, i.e., marriage, a wife, a family, and once you understand the purpose behind having that thing, then you're able to say, okay, because this is the purpose for why we are married, this is how I'm going to direct my family. And then you create a vision for your marriage, for your family.
Yeah.
All right. So that's also kind of my first point.
So I love what you're saying. I absolutely love what you're saying. And I resonate with what you're saying a lot, right? I find that when we get married, we honestly this thing, what is it?
So when in our cultures here, we've got many tribes,
yes,
right?
Yes.
But I think one of the common things that happens at weddings is the bride is pulled aside
yes.
by the family, by the family,
the women in the family,
yes. and they're basically told the do's and don'ts.
Yes. So it's sort of like coaching, right?
For sure.
So I find that happens a lot with women, and there isn't a lot of coaching that happens for men. So with what you're saying, baby, about having a clear where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. How do you think you could have been better prepared to understand the purpose for your marriage?
To be honest with you, I didn't know that there was a purpose to marriage.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't.
Okay, this is interesting.
So I didn't think about marriage as something bigger than me. Marriage was supposed to serve what I wanted out of life. So I didn't look at marriage as a responsibility that I have for a greater cause.
And then number 2 for you?
What was number 2 for you?
Proactive versus reactive.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So I feel like in a lot of instances, people are reactive. So what they do is that they would wait until things fall apart or something happens for them to act. So we spoke about taking care of the now. So my husband and I have this thing where we've spoken about how it's important to go after your dreams. It's important to use your skills and your gifts and your talents and for those gifts and talents to you can make a living out of those gifts and talents. But we sometimes know that it's not even sometimes, we know that most of the time when you are pursuing a dream, it takes time. And in the meantime, you have to live. And I find that sometimes people don't make necessary plans to live in the now. And then when things fall apart, that's when they start acting, as opposed to planning so that you are not reactive, but you are proactive. Yeah.
And you think that's a quality?
I think that's a great quality. I think that's because that speaks about vision.
Yeah.
That speaks about vision. It ties perfectly to the first point, because when you are proactive, it's because you have thought about what recourses to take in future should your plans not work, right? It speaks to having goals. And how you are going to reach those goals. You are being proactive. Whereas with people that are reactive, they let things play out, and then now they try to to do damage control. So I have an issue with damage control. So for me, I'm like, let's plan accordingly so that we don't have to do damage control.
Okay. Yeah. In my marriage, I haven't been the most proactive. No, actually, that's not fair. Sorry, let me rephrase. I haven't been as proactive as far as taking care of the now. I have been proactive as far as chasing dreams while neglecting taking care of the now. And then when things fall apart now, I'm reactive.
Yes.
That I'll admit to. That's definitely been my story. I think I'm growing.
No, you've grown a lot.
Okay, good.
You've grown a lot.
Okay,
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Because and I know where that's coming from. So I am a dreamer. I'm an artist. I live in my head a lot. I'm a long game person. Understand that it'll happen eventually or whatever. Don't freak out as much now. You know what I mean? Maybe I could do a lot more freaking out. Not freaking out. I don't mean to kind of, what's the word? I'm not trying to minimize the severity of it. Because sometimes really you need to have the ability to look at yourself and say, man, I dropped the ball here. There are things that needed to be taken care of. And I think it's an area that I'm growing in. But yes, I agree. As leaders, here's the thing, and this is the thing about leadership, right? You don't get to pick which battle to involve yourself in. They're all your battles. It's yours. It's your family. It's your livelihood. It's your responsibility to love, to serve, to protect, to whatever. So because I feel like I'm strong in this area, but not so much in that area, yes, it's good to acknowledge it, but beyond acknowledging it, do something about the area where you're lacking a bit. And sometimes doing something about it looks like ask for help, which we don't do very well sometimes as men. We don't ask for help. Sometimes it's our pride. Sometimes anyway, ask for help. Cool.
And I love that. Before we get into our third point, What was your second point?
I didn't say it yet.
You didn't say it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So before he gets into the second point, I love that. I just thought of something. So when we talk about visionaries and dreamers, it's so fascinating that visionaries can be dreamers, but dreamers aren't always visionaries.
Yeah.
Which is so fascinating.
Yeah,
but
for
anyway,
sure.
Yeah.
So my first word was vision. My second word was communication.
Okay.
So the reason I came with communication was because very often where we fail, our families, and allow me to very lightly say followers, because we're talking about leadership, right? Is that we are ineffective in communicating what it is that we see in our future. We are not so great at communicating what it is that we are doing now, and we're not good at communicating how we would like to be supported or how we need to be supported. We've got this idea that it's cool, I've got it. I'll work it out. Don't worry about it. I'm good. And you're not. And it's very difficult then for the people that that have linked hands with you to support you, because you're not communicating effectively to your family, more specifically to your wife, to say, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I think that sometimes we don't give our wives enough credit. What do I mean by that? We don't assume that when we communicate something effectively, that they'll actually back it and support it. You know, to say, oh, okay, I've gotten into the habit now of, as uncomfortable as some things are, I sit down with my wife, and sometimes I know what her response is going to be. And I say to her, no, that's why I'm sitting here and having this conversation with you, because I would like to hear your perspective. I want you to speak into my life. I want you to tell me where you think I might be going wrong. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't have autonomy as far as making the decision, but when I started opening myself up to that, my wife was dropping some gems, man. And I go, wow, I actually didn't think about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Communicate. It's not always going to work in your favor. Your partner is not always going to have your back in a decision that you make, but communicate nonetheless. Let them not ever be in a position where they can say, but you didn't tell me, but I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? You're allowed to disagree, guys. You are absolutely allowed to disagree. Also, leaders are allowed to make unpopular decisions. So make the decision and back yourself up. Right? Let's not always be waiting for, I can't do this because I don't have the support from my wife. And then because this is the problem. This is the problem. Now, when things aren't working out the way that you wanted them to work out, you're going to turn to your wife and blame her and be like, yeah, I didn't go out and pursue this because you didn't support me. No, what are you talking about?
But I also find that with communication, it's not even just about a person trying to garner support, right? It's also about just bringing your person on board. Because sometimes I found that in our marriage, you would be thinking about something, but I think that you are not being proactive, right? Where I feel like you're laxed about a situation. I feel like, but why are you not doing something? But back at the ranch, you are thinking about making a plan. You're making phone calls. You're talking to people, but you didn't let me in. Which caused a lot of friction in our marriage. Where I said, "How? But why are you not taking care of this? Why?" And you are thinking you've been working for the past 2 weeks tirelessly trying to network, trying to make contact, trying to make a plan. And now I'm coming and saying, but you're not doing anything. So in that case, it wasn't even about you trying to get my support, but you just trying to bring me in to say, babe, because women love security. Women love knowing that babe has got this. So we want to know this. And I find that with men, sometimes I think the anxiety is that you don't want me coming to you in a week to say, so how far are you with that?
Oh my gosh.
So you want to, so I think we just need to strike a balance, because now you want to come with the solution, but you don't want to take me on the journey, on the process. And I thrive on information. I thrive on the process.
But you know why that is?
Yeah.
When we were dating, you told me that, baby, once upon a time, you used to say to me, it's cool, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And I took care of it. You see. And you told me that did something for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's something that I prided myself in. I almost feel like a loser. And I'm using it very loosely, right? But literally.
Yeah.
Right? To be like, so now I'm going, because I don't like whining. I don't like complaining. I don't like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I want to come when it's sorted. I don't have time for, so what I struggle with as far as communication is saying, it's not working out.
And it's okay to say that.
It's okay to say that, but I'm telling you that's hard. That's hard on me because I feel like I'm failing you.
And I appreciate that. I just think that it's better for you to come to me and say it's not working out a week in rather than 6 months later.
Sure.
To say, babe, it's just, and I'm thinking, but you could have said this in week 1 and we could have put our heads together to see how we can make it work.
I think another thing, actually I want to bring this up.
Yeah.
So I think another thing is this. Guys, I've said very often that don't always look to your partner to be everything, right? Sometimes when a man is in the thick of things, he's very clear about what he needs in that moment.
Okay.
And if going to your wife in that moment is if going to your wife in that moment is not providing you with what you need to action your next, it may affect your ability or appetite to go to your wife and say, hey man, this is what's going on, right? So this is what I'm saying now, that now I'm in a place where I'm now coming to my wife with it. Actually, before it becomes a situation anyway, because it's safer for me to say, hey man, this is what I'm thinking about. So that my wife can advise me on possible pitfalls that I didn't see myself. When I reach that place where I do hit a dip, right, then I don't know. I might still, I don't know. I'm still working it out. Just the first time I'm actually having this conversation with myself, right? But communicate. But communicate.
But you know what communication also looks like? Communication also looks like, I mean, you don't have to go into detail as far as what your plans look like, right? Because sometimes you don't want to maybe overshare at the risk of your partner, your wife coming to say, so babe, how's the plan with so-and-so going, right? Communication also looks like, babe, that thing that I'm working on, it's still happening.
Cool.
Right? I don't even have to know the details.
Yeah.
But the security of knowing that
you're still on it.
You're still on it.
Cool.
That's
fair.
That's what it looks like
cool.
for me.
I hear you. Sharp.
My last point
Yes.
is being consistent. I find that leaders that are consistent inspire confidence in people that they lead, because they don't. You can trust a person that's consistent, right? If they say they're going to do something, also they do it. They aren't waking up at 5 this week, and then next week they're waking up at 1, and then the next week they're waking up at 6 p.m. or sleeping the whole day. So I find that leaders that are consistent,
that's good,
have what do you call this? Not a schedule, not a timetable.
Structure.
Yes. Structure. And even when you look at kids thrive in environments where there's structure, because it inspires confidence in them. It gives them security. So for me, consistency equals security. So when there isn't consistency, I start to get anxious. I start to even wonder whether you are dropping balls in other areas. So it's not just about, so consistency in your life, even. I find that it's a reflection of the consistency in the things that need to be taken care of in our marriage.
That's good.
So for me, consistency in a leader is something that I find very, very important.
I think consistency, honestly, is a really hard thing.
It's very hard. Sorry, baby, because it speaks to discipline.
Yeah.
And not many of us are disciplined.
Yeah. Consistency, guys.
Yeah.
Consistency is a tough thing. It's something that oh man, people strive for all their lives, you know. And it's not only for men. It's for women. It's everybody.
Yeah.
Like consist. How do you know this? First week of spring, look at the gym. People aren't consistent.
First week of the year, look at church.
First week of the year, look at church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's consistency is a tough thing, and leaders need to be built tough.
Yeah.
So get to it. You know, get to it. Work on consistency. Work on discipline, and be unrelenting in working on it. You know, don't. The reason why it was important that I said that it's just a difficult thing is not to make an excuse for it. I don't want you to beat yourself up for not being consistent, right? Because it's one of the hardest things, you know, being consistent. But it's one of those battles that is worth fighting to the death, you know, to say every week, get up and try again. The next week, get up and try again. And you drop the ball. And the next week, get up and try again. Like, just keep pursuing consistency, because I think out of consistency, whether it doesn't matter what you look at. You look at sports. You look at plants. There's nothing that you can look at that doesn't point to consistency for that thing to grow. Yeah. You know, so yeah.
And I love what you're saying about trying. I also feel like even in marriage, you can see when your partner's trying to be consistent, because there's other people that are just not trying. Yeah. So if you fall, pick yourself up. Yeah. If you need support, ask your partner. Ask your wife or your husband, babe, I'm struggling in this area. Yeah. Help me.
Yeah. Yeah. And help him. Okay. My last point is action. That's my last point.
Okay.
Action.
So that's proactive.
Guys, you know, I don't want to say proactive because, and let me tell you, because it's a little bit gray.
Okay.
Proactive action. Papa action, papa. Papa, let's be Papa actions, guys. Action. What my wife said, when you said you're going to do something, do it. When you've made up in your mind and you've put a plan down, action it. When you have a thought, get to it. Action. People don't follow dreams. People follow progress. I've seen this in business. In all of my business dealings, people want to see what you have done. They don't want to know about your plans and your dreams and how big this thing is and in your mind and in your strategy. No, they want to see action. They want to follow people that are moving. They want to jump on a bandwagon and claim it as their own and be like, oh yeah, no, this is my thing. Yeah, Lerato wouldn't be here had it not been for me. You know those people, right? Yeah. Action. Be a person of action. It is the single greatest thing that you could possibly do if you want to see progress in your life. Action. Have action.
And you know what I love about action and what you're saying?
Sorry, can I look at your phone for the time? But carry on.
It sort of ties everything together. Oh, it's load shedding.
Yeah, in 2 minutes.
Shading. Because people are so tired of us. People are just like, guys, don't you check your schedule?
If you're still here, load shedding.
Action.
Load shedding.
Load shedding.
Yeah, load shedding. Just comment load shedding.
So I wanted to say, baby, before we sign out, I love what you said about action. And action ties up to visionaries, because we spoke about how visionaries are goal-oriented and they act. Whereas dreamers are constantly, they are talkers. They're big talkers. And guys, there's nothing more attractive than a man who takes action. Because, it's that thing also. A person that executes, doers are just very attractive. And I think that's why women are attracted to powerful men, because powerful men are doers and they take action.
Yeah.
So action.
Yeah.
Papa action.
Papa action. Comment Papa action. Papa action. Actually, forget load shedding. Papa action. Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on that notification bell to know every single time we upload a new installment. Yeah. Thank you for smashing that thanks button. Guys, there was a comment. Guys, we see your comments.
We do see
We
them.
do. We read all of your comments. We can't get to all of them all of the time because you guys are just so responsive and stuff. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we don't know when we're going to get to what. Thank you for having this conversation. I think it was really valuable. I really loved it.
And we are shooting this it's almost midnight.
It's 1 minute to midnight.
1 minute to midnight.
It's just going to go just now. Maybe we should stay here.
No.
Just until.
No, but sometimes it goes 10 minutes after.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay. Anyway, guys, we love you. We appreciate you, man. I adore you.
You didn't just marry me for sex, ne?
No.
For love and companionship and support.
Yeah.
But we're still here and we're still having great sex. So.
It's amazing.
It gets better. That's
the wild part.
Yeah.
It gets
better.
Every time.
Yeah.
You know what it is? One time, till real. Peace and blessings, people.
Out.
We out.
Love you.